So hey y'all, hey, welcome back to Couch Conversations, and we're about to finish up this series on Faces We Hide. But today is all about now let's heal. Let's start to heal. Okay. Now, some of this stuff can be triggering. I just want to let you know because we are going to be talking about some childhood trauma things. And some people still cannot deal with that right now. So if you cannot deal with it, I'm going to have to ask you to keep on going. Okay. Keep on going because, this is going to be a deep conversation. And I don't want anybody to get triggered. And of course, y'all know me, I'm just a life coach. I'm not a therapist. So I don't want to um, open up no can of worms for people that I cannot close. Okay. So today we got a couple of people that's joining us for this conversation. We have Robin. Welcome back, Robin. Hey, girl. Hey. Are you there, honey? Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get it
That's
off
okay.
mute. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to get this conversation going.
Yes. And then we have Miss Vernita. Hey, Vernita. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Hey. And then my boo. Hey, Miss Jewel.
Hey, I'm excited to get into this.
Period.
Thank you for having me back. I
You're
appreciate you.
welcome. You're welcome. So, y'all, we're just gonna jump right in there. And we're gonna start this conversation, and it's gonna probably be a deep one. I know that when it comes to childhood trauma, I know that we all have some form of childhood trauma. And me, for myself, I went through quite a bit. So we're gonna dive into just a little bit of it today. But the most important part of this is that I want to start talking about how do we heal from it. Okay. So when you hear the words childhood trauma, what comes to mind? Robin?
This mute button is gonna be it's gonna be on my nerves today. I'm so
Well,
sorry.
leave it unmuted,
Yeah, so
girl.
when I think of childhood trauma, what comes to mind to me is just some unfavorable circumstance that has occurred in someone's life. For me, sadly, I'll say my first memory of my existence on this earth happened to have been a childhood trauma, and I don't know if that's by default from trauma or if that's just what it is, but it happened around the age about 4 or 5, and yeah, it just stuck with me for my whole life.
Wow. Okay. Do
Yeah.
anybody else have anything to add to that? Just unmute if y'all feel like you want to answer. I'm going to tell y'all when I hear the words childhood trauma, what comes to mind for me is fear, um, neglect, lost, um, oof, ooh, lots of things. Because the thing is, I can't ever remember having a childhood. Because of the trauma, because of the type of trauma that I went through. And the type of trauma that I went through was sexual, physical, emotional. I was sexually abused by multiple people, men and women. And then I was abused by family members, physically, mentally, emotionally. And with all that, when I'm still thinking about that word childhood trauma, I'm even thinking about throwaway. I'm thinking about throwaway. So, when did you realize that your childhood experiences was affecting your adult life, Vernita?
Oh gosh. Um, when I keep having flashbacks and then it made me overprotective of all of my children, especially my daughter, and then I had outbursts.
Ooh,
What that means for me is that, some of the things that you remember from your trauma that all of a sudden you could be having a great conversation and something will trigger you to say, well, or not like a person or flat. I would crash out. Like for instance,
ooh.
on my brother because he didn't
Kids be
protect me.
using. Uh-huh.
Hmm?
You like the kids be using crash out.
Yeah, I would
You
crash
would crash
out. I
out.
would crash
Wow.
out. Be like, you don't understand. You didn't do this to protect me, blah, 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 you know. So
Mhm.
crash out maybe, or, um, yeah,
Do you
it's a
still
lot.
do that to this day?
I do.
Yeah.
I've gotten better. I've gotten better.
Hmm.
Um, because even getting ready for this conversation brought back a lot of stuff. And, um, so at this age, this ripe age of 50, I think I'm 57. Of 57, I am
Uh-huh.
still like triggered and still wondering or realizing that I'm just not something that needs to be thrown away
Mhm.
or that I am worthy. So I have to tell myself that, like, I do my affirmations now, but
Mhm.
before, no, if that makes
Wow.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes sense. But you still crash out.
I do. Not on
Wow.
purpose. I
See?
mean, I forgive. I have
Uh-huh.
forgiven.
Uh-huh.
I have forgiven,
Yeah.
but I don't forget because some of it still, if people see me today, they might remember an instance from 1989 or
Yeah.
19, I don't even know when I graduated, I
Yeah.
forgot, but 1985,
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
whole Akron, Ohio knew, like the whole school
Yeah.
knew. So it's like,
Wow. Wow.
so
Wow.
for me, I still cover myself up. I still dress a certain way. I still carry myself a certain way, and I'm still very quiet.
Mhm.
If anybody ever wondered why I'm quiet, that's why. But
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, Jewel, we want to hear from you a little bit. What's your take on this?
Uh, so for me, I realized my childhood experiences were affecting me mostly in how I repeated cycles in relationships. The way
Oh.
I watched a lot of the women in my life be in relationship, um, reactions to certain things, arguments, yelling, you in relationships and they raise their voice, I'm shutting down because I grew up in an abusive home. Boundaries, people pleasing, just not wanting that, walking on eggshells. The way I handle my emotions, I always just dealt with everything on my own because I had to do that as a child, right? There was nobody there to hold my emotions. I was pretty much holding everybody's emotions, including the adults. So I had to grow up fast. I had to have a lot of emotional maturity early. So I always just took whatever I was feeling in private, in
Mhm.
private.
So what have you done different to change that? Like, are you still operating that way, or you're in the process of changing that?
I definitely feel like I have transitioned out of the people pleaser, not being vocal. I'm very much gonna say, yeah, no, I'm not okay right now. Um,
Oh.
that wouldn't be me. With
Mm.
y'all, I'm like, yeah, no, today I'm struggling today. Like,
Okay.
I'm getting to that space where I'm comfortable letting people know, like, I don't have the capacity
Yeah.
today.
Mm.
I know a lot of people come to me for that strength, and I don't think that they humanize me enough to realize, some of the same
Oh.
struggles you dealing with. I'm here walking earth too, living through these things and going
Mhm.
through, and just being more vocal about my story. I think I
Yeah.
kind of carry a presence that doesn't look like I've been through anything. So now I'm being able to share that story, and I have a lot more people that are like, oh, okay, okay.
Mhm.
That makes a
That's the
little more
sad
sense.
part about it too. Being in this line of business, I don't know why people look at us and think, "Oh, they have it together. They're perfect. Nothing is happening with them." Look at her, Robin. And look, Robin is one of the prettiest people I've ever met, and it looked like she has not never been through anything. If you look at her, you would think that, oh, that's one of the happiest people on earth. You wouldn't think that she's been through anything, but people do not understand we are human. I cry. I
Right.
cry. I'm going through something right now with a friend of mine who passed away. It's like a sister. I listen. I still have an obligation to my platform, but on the same hand, I'm still human. I cry just like the next person. And you're right. You said the perfect words that they don't humanize. They don't humanize you.
Mm-mm.
You know. So
No.
that really, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So, I,
Sadly, I just want to
mhm,
piggyback off of
mhm,
that. I feel like sometimes too, they don't humanize you until you blow up or until you crash out, as Vernita said, or until you go through things. I feel like I didn't start feeling like I was being humanized by certain people who used to be in my life until I was going through, everything I was going through. But it took for me to almost literally be in a position of not being able to take care of myself and be at the mercy of other people for them to even see me as human. So I totally agree with that.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And I was going to ask Renita, is when you say that you crash out, do you feel like you crash out because you feel like people are not humanizing you, and because they feel like, oh, you should just forget that, or you? Well, I guess I'm trying to figure out how to
Yes.
say it because I'm
Yes.
trying to figure out this crash out
Yes.
thing.
So the crash out for me to crash out is for me to speak what's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I'm known as the quiet, nice,
Um,
subtle,
mm-hmm.
always happy go lucky Nita.
Yeah.
But when I say exactly what's on my mind, because, hey, this happened. No, it didn't. Oh, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, you weren't there. No, you didn't do this. No, you didn't do that. I don't crash out where I'm cursing someone
Yeah.
out. I state the facts and this is what happens. And
Mm-hmm.
most people are like, "Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you say something?" But what if I did? I did.
Yeah.
So my trauma is I have a lot. So it's
Yeah.
sexual, mental, physical, it's all the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being 8 years old and someone's trying to sell you to somebody, right? Or imagine someone trying to rape you. There's a bunch of people, but all of a sudden the people are gone. But when you make a phone call or say, when you run across a grass field and be like, this is what happened, why are you calling me? I'm at work.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
it's like a burden, right? So then you feel like a burden, right? And so then you go to school the next day because you have to still go to school the next day. The whole world knows, but no one has any capacity to, pull you aside, have a conversation, or tell you what you should be doing. Then you go to court, and because you smile when you're mad, something's
Mm-hmm.
wrong with you,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So it's those type of things that people push under the rug because they don't want to deal with it. And then you're still left to deal with that as an adult, still not knowing how to handle it or how you're
Yeah.
supposed to handle it. So you go
Mhm.
through it, and then so now you're overprotective because now you have these children that you're trying to protect, and you don't want them to have the same trauma that you
Absolutely.
have. So, it just goes
Mhm.
from generation to generation to generation unless you stop it.
Unless you stop it.
Unless you stop
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
the buck stops here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we're having these conversations because in our generation, I think a lot of people sweep things under the rug. I don't think in this
Absolutely.
generation they're doing it as much, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's happening everywhere. Yeah.
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 I didn't mean to talk that long.
No, you're
Hey,
good. But I would love to say this to you, Vernita, because it's on my spirit. Stop calling that a crash out.
come on. Hmm.
So what is it then? Because I'm about to cry. I don't want
That's
to.
I don't
What?
know, it's just on my spirit, but I don't know. I feel like stop saying that that's a crash out because you're speaking your truth. Because
Right.
it's your truth. And
Yeah.
that's not crashing out. That's you finally allowing the young girl who felt unheard to be heard. And you allowed that. Whether anybody receives it or not, get it out. Say it. Because that's releasing you.
You. Thank you. I'll try not to cry. But it's hard when it's just hard.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
hard to say because people don't see you for who you are or what you've been through.
Just saying, just like this. Fuck what other
Yeah.
people. What fuck what other people think and say and feel, Vernita. This has. Listen. Listen. Just like
Yeah.
Jules said, this is your. I wrote a book. It's called My Story, My Truth. When I wrote that book, everybody shut down on me. They came for me. And I was already warned that they was coming for me. But I'm like, well, why was somebody come for me? For me telling my truth.
Mhm.
I didn't ask to be raped. I didn't ask to be beat. I didn't ask for these things to happen to me. Why are you mad at me for telling my truth? You right. And that's the reason why I kept asking Jewel, why is this? Why are you calling it a crash out? It's not a crash out. It's just that Vernita has been quiet for so long. And now I know I've been knowing you for years. And now Vernita is starting to talk. She's starting to talk. And I was gonna ask you, are you afraid to tell your story?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, see, I like, because you've been trying to get me to write my book forever. And so a reason why I will not is
Yeah.
because I don't want to hurt anybody, right? A lot of the things that have happened, how do I say this? I don't want to hurt anybody.
Mhm.
And it will hurt people
Mhm.
that I love, but and I'm grown. I've come a long way. So, I mean, my story matters, yes, but does it matter to the point where it might mess up someone else's
Mhm.
life? It could, and I don't want it to
Okay.
because I haven't healed totally, but hell, I do great for myself, and I could talk to people all day long about their issues and help them.
Mhm.
But talking like this, I think helps me,
Mhm.
But yeah, I shouldn't tell. Well, not that I shouldn't tell my story, but I don't I don't think I should just yet. There's a lot. There's layers. There's
Yeah.
layers.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in
And
your
that's
book, I
okay.
just did a little excerpt, and that's just from as a child.
Yeah.
Mm.
As a child.
So that's as a
Yeah.
child, and that's
Yeah.
still with me today. I can still visualize it. I still see it.
Mhm.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
But heck, I'm
Bernita,
here.
I want to say, Bernie, that your feelings are valid, and I think the reason why you feel like it's a crash out is because you haven't spoken up for so long. You don't realize the validity in your feelings, but your feelings are valid, and you do get to speak up for yourself. I wanted to say that. And then I also wanted to say, as far as telling your story, my story, I'm sure that I ended up hurting a lot of people, but that wasn't the intent of my story. And your story, I can't say what the call is on your life, but I'm willing to bet it's attached to your story. And so it's important for you to prioritize that, whenever you're ready. But prioritize that over the fear of hurting other people. People are going to get hurt, but that's not the mission that you're setting out to do. And there's also a way to articulate and tell your story without damaging anyone. People, I mean, if the truth does hurt for a lot of people, it will hurt for a lot of people, especially because they may feel like the villain in your story, but at the end of the day, it's still your truth, it's still your reality, it's still your perspective. So you get to share that, because again, your purpose is more often than not, it is tied to your story than it is of your need to protect someone else.
Absolutely. I
You're
agree
right.
with you, Robin.
Thank you.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And Robin, reading your book, the way that you told your story, because you had a traumatic story. In your book, I was mad at some people. I'm not gonna lie. But the way that you wrote that book was so graceful.
Thank you.
It was so graceful. You still gave people grace in that book. And I
Mhm.
love how you presented it. You told your story, you told your truth. This is what happened to me. Whether y'all like it or not, but I still love you. You know,
Mhm.
and I can remember somebody telling me, and this has always been my saying, I'm hoping I'm going to get it right. If you wanted a different part in my story, you should have played a different, if you wanted a different character in my story, you should have played a different part in my life, and that's the truth. But I give people grace that I grew up with, that was around me, that allowed, I hate to use those words aloud, but was there when these things happened to me. I give them grace because they were kids too.
Yeah.
When I look at some of my aunts, my aunt, I got an aunt that's only, I think, 7, 8 years older than me. They were kids too. So, and then thinking about our family, our family dynamics, and how my grandparents used to think, you know, how was they supposed to know? So I give them grace. However, these things did happen to me, and I have every right to talk about it. And I'm going to keep talking about it, because the one thing that I have realized, that my story is part of what you say, a part of who I am, and a part of my journey in
Purpose.
life, and my
Mhm.
purpose is a part of all that. And if I don't move forward, and talk about what I've survived, I feel like there's people dying on my watch, because I can remember there was a time, girl, I was crazy. There was a time I thought I was the only person in the world that this had happened to. And matter of fact, I didn't even think I was gonna live till I was 30. I was like, well, 30 is gonna be it. I don't know why that was the magic number, but I prepared myself. And I lived my life accordingly. I didn't look at myself as a human. I'm the one who dehumanized me. And I just looked at myself as just just a piece of nothing, you know. And so it wasn't until I hit my late 40s when I said something got to change. I mean, I can't keep living like this, because um, this trauma has affected me all these years. And if I want to turn it around, and I want for my kids not to continue to be affected, I have to do something different, and I have to do something major. And I did. I made a major move. And writing my book was one, it was part of it. So Julie, you're quiet down there, but I know I see you. I see you with
I'm
it.
just I can speak, but also I don't know if anybody else's phone is sounding staticky.
I know yours is right now.
Okay. Yeah, it was sounding a little staticky, so I hope that's not
It's
picking up
okay.
on the record.
It is what it is. And the devil is alive.
Mhm.
And
But yeah, I agree with what y'all are telling her. I just feel like she needed to hear that.
yeah. Yeah. So I know one of the things that I struggled with as a result of this childhood trauma was boundaries, and I struggle with it with everybody. I was the biggest people pleaser. When you look in the dictionary under people pleaser, you will see my face right there. I was that girl. I didn't even know what boundaries were until I started getting into this coaching thing, and I was like, boundaries. I mean, I know what boundaries is, but boundaries. What's that? I mean, you mean I could tell people no? I could tell people they can't do this? I was allowed to do that? Did anybody else have issues with boundaries?
I had issues
Oh
with
yeah.
boundaries.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had issues with boundaries, and I think, to be honest, my issues with boundaries wasn't, it was more a matter of a lack of understanding and even being aware of what boundaries were. Or like you said, I can tell people no. Like,
Mhm.
not doing XYZ for a friend doesn't make me a bad person. Prioritizing myself doesn't make me a selfish person. Oh, yeah, we about to run this up because I need to
Oh,
establish boundaries in every area of my life, even my job. I don't ask for time off. I tell them what day I'm not going to be there because I have something more important to do. I know it sounds crazy, but that's also a boundary too, because a lot of times people don't even put boundaries in with their employer, and their employer be running them crazy whole time. You get to really dictate, when you can and can't be available, depending on your role in the job you do. I mean, obviously that's subjective, but it's one of those things where I think for most of my life, it was always, well, I got to see if I can get off work, or can I? But when after I got sick and I went through all the things I went through, it was just like, no, I'm never asking permission to do my own life ever again from anybody. So
almost got up and ran up out this office and came back again, because that's deep. That's deep.
it's
And let
real.
me tell you, when I started learning the word no, I wrote a book about it. It's called The Power of Hell No. And when I started learning that word and exercising that word no, honey, that word has gotten me in a lot of trouble. I got 2 kids and 3 grandkids I don't even have relationships with because of that word no. Because people really cannot take that word no. People do not like for you to set boundaries. They don't want you doing that. Because if you set a boundary, how am I come over there and use you up? You know? And then especially me who is an ex people pleaser, and I still struggle with it to this day. It's something that don't just go away. Okay. They want to know how can I get back over there and get I was an asset. Okay, but I was an asset all in the wrong way. Girl, I was paying utilities, buying cars, flights, trips, giving money, name it, name it. So learning these boundaries, it was tough. But I mean, I sort of kind of got it down pat now. I don't have no problem with saying no for me, you know. But I see you over there shaking your head, Bernita. How are you with these boundaries?
Oh, I'm just learning boundaries. A
That's all
little
right.
late to the game, but
Mm-hmm.
no, I have my
Mm-hmm.
boundaries a little bit. But
Yeah.
I'm semi a people pleaser still.
Yeah.
I don't say no very often unless I really can't do something, but I'm working on it.
Mm,
I learned certain boundaries now. I don't let people run over me anymore.
yeah.
So, not
That's
Let me help
everybody.
you. Let me help you,
uh-oh.
Vernita. Let me ask you this question. Why can't you say no? Like, why don't you say no?
Because I don't want people to be mad. If I'm
Why?
being honest, I don't want someone to be mad that I can't do something. Because, yeah, I got issues over here. I got issues because I think, I don't know. I don't want people to be mad, or I think I just want people to like me because, yeah, that's probably why. I don't know.
Here's the
That
thing,
might be it.
though. If people are only in your life because of your yes, they are not your people anyway. Like, they don't need to be in your life. If you can't tell them no, why are they? That just reveals why they're in your life, because they want to use you, because they know Vernita gonna always show up. But Vernita,
Yeah.
showing up for other people when it inconveniences you, or it's something that may not be something that you absolutely want to do, you're abandoning yourself for these people who are using you. Like, that's one of those things, and I hate to put it like that, but I don't really know how to sugarcoat stuff. But that's one of those things you have to think about the next time you decide what that you're not gonna say no. You have to think like, okay, does this hurt me and help them? Or is this something that I actually want to do for this person? Because then it becomes a question of heart posture. What is your heart posture when you're saying yes? If it's a matter of you making sure you protecting your blessings, if your heart posture ain't right, it's not doing the job anyway.
Oof.
Gotcha. Oh, well, I did get hard at one time where I said, this is what I want and this is what I expect. And then I did cut somebody off.
Yeah.
It was hard, but I still feel
Mm.
guilty about it. But yeah, I
But
did learn that.
cutting somebody off don't solve, first of all, don't solve the problem. And it isn't taking care of you telling that person no. Only thing that you've done is just cut that person off. You know, this is one thing that somebody told my aunt taught me this. She said, "Do you don't know how to tell people no? Just say no and run." What?
I'm gonna try
She's
that. I'm
like,
gonna try
I'm
that.
for real.
No, and I'm out.
No and run, or no and hang up. I remember my mother years and years ago, just before she passed away, and she told me because I didn't know how to say no. And I remember when I first started saying no, my cousin called my mother and said, something is wrong with Venus because I asked her to do such and such, and she told me no. But my mother told me, she said, the way that you practice saying no, she said, if somebody asks you for the time, look down at your watch and say, oh no, I don't even have the time. It's like, what? She said, yeah, you just do it like that. And I was like, and I tried to practice that back then. This was way back then. This was when I was in my 20s. Girl, I was nowhere near ready, okay? But yeah, now, let me just say this too, Vernita, because I fight with you a lot. I fight with Vernita a lot. She'd be like, no, you're not. So Vernita has an amazing business. She do all kinds of, Vernita, tell them what you do. Because I'm telling you, the girl is cold.
I'm still working on my elevator pitch.
Right.
But no, I am a crafter. I create, I like to bring people's visions to life. That's my thing. So if you have something that you're wanting to do for your business or for your home or for a party or whatever, I'm that person you call to get some insight on what you should do or what you can make or what can be done. So I do it from the rooter to the tutor, if that makes sense. So I'm very multifaceted and I just love to bring people's visions to life. From t-shirts to I sew, I crochet, I just do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
You
And
put me on the spot.
I have to fight with her because she's one of my vendors. And I'll say, well, I would like it like this. And okay, I want to, have 10 of these. She said, well, I'll tell you what, you can get the 10 and I'll just charge. I was like, no, you will not. You're gonna charge me how much it costs. Stop that. So that's because I'm a friend too. You're not gonna be a people pleaser up to me. I won't shut you down. I won't call you on it. I know my husband had a really big issue with people pleasing, a really big issue with it. And I was like, okay, enough is enough. And I had to even help him with that. Now he's the extreme. And I'd be looking at people when people be asking him, because he's a master mechanic, he do all kinds of stuff too. People will be asking him about certain things. He'd be like, no, I'm not able to do that right now. And I'd be looking at that person like, feeling kind of sorry for him because he just just cut dry. He don't make no excuses or nothing. He'd be like, no, I'm not able to do that. No, not today. I'm like, oh my goodness. So look, I want to know, why do y'all think that people suffer in silence when it comes to this childhood trauma thing? Like, why would they rather just keep it buried inside instead of just talking about it and saying this is what's happening?
I'll go. To me, that can be a little layered. I think it
Yeah.
just depends on the type of trauma. So for me, I dealt with pretty much everything that you all said, as far as mental and physical abuse, sexual abuse. I dealt with all of that, and for the mental and physical abuse, I can tell you that I did not know that I experienced that type of abuse, in my childhood until having conversations, I would say early adulthood, and realizing it was not okay. Some of the things that I went through, that wasn't normal because it was normal for me. So I didn't realize that it wasn't normal. And then for the sexual abuse, um, you start to, you depending on who your assailant is or whatever, they may make you feel like there's something wrong or like you did something wrong. So if they make you feel like you did something wrong, then you don't want to get in trouble for, doing anything wrong, even though, you didn't want it to happen or whatever. And so I think it just really depends on the type of trauma, the environment, and just the mindset at the time. So for me, that's what it was for me.
Why you said that they make you feel as though you did something wrong when we're talking about sexual abuse. And I was made to feel that way because I've always had a body. I'm just gonna say it. I've just always had what they say a body, right? Not always my boobs. Probably later in life got bigger, but I've always had a body and I've always had hips. And I always thought that my hips is what got me in trouble because men, even when I was at a younger age, would always comment on my body. So I always thought
Mhm.
that the sexual abuse was my fault. And so that's one of the reasons why I sort of kind of kept it to myself. Because even too, when I tried to even say something about it, I was shut down. I was shut down. And it was almost made it made me feel like when I even tried to tell, like how I received it was like if you didn't have those big hips. Now, it was never said to me like that. I'm just saying in my head, I'm thinking if I wouldn't have had those big hips, then I don't think that would have happened to me. So it's my fault, you know. So I know that's crazy. But how important do y'all think that faith and mentorship and coaching and even therapy, how important is it to y'all when it comes to, trying to heal? Jewel,
I'm really struggling.
we're gonna fight your phone.
What was the question?
Oh, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
No, it sounds like a robot, kind of.
Mm. Well, that's okay. What about you, Miss Robin? How important is it to you when we're talking about coaching and mentorship and therapy?
Okay, so coaching and mentorship, I feel like are mandatory, absolutely mandatory for your life, for every part of your life. I learned this late in my early 30s, and I learned that I needed a mentor for everything, a money mentor. At the time I was married, I needed a marriage mentor, I needed a business mentor. You know, I needed a mentor for every area of my life. And I pretty much have stuck with that. It's so important because it helps you to, continue to elevate to higher levels in your life and to achieve goals, personal goals that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will also say for therapy, it's kind of the same sentiment, for your emotional, mental, physical wellness. All that is important to also just to be in alignment with where you're supposed to go and where you're at now. Like sometimes it's difficult to get through things. Like for me, I've been in therapy, it's been 2.5 years straight. And while I'm not going every week, I go through my little cycles. Sometimes I have to go every week. Sometimes it's bi-weekly. Sometimes it's monthly. I was just on monthly and I just switched back to bi-weekly. It's just, it's important to me. It's like a maintenance thing. It doesn't always have to be when life is coming at you on all cylinders. It can just be someone to talk to who is, trained to help guide you through overcoming certain obstacles and things in our lives. Like, yeah, we can talk to our friends and stuff, but 9 times out of 10, the people that we want to talk to either haven't dealt with what we're dealing with or really aren't don't have the capacity, I'll say, to help lead us out of those cycles and lead us onto a higher ground.
Bernita, are you in any type of therapy right now?
No.
No?
But I
Okay.
think after this, I probably will. I mean, I work with therapists. I work in a counseling center. It's my full-time job. So I know the benefits of it and what,
Yes.
and I probably need to hire a coach. Yeah, I need all the things. So that's why. So had I had information about these sort of things as a young person, as a young girl, um, not that I'd be better off because I think I managed my life pretty well, but had I had that type of mentorship, I probably would handle things a lot more better. I wouldn't crash out. I wouldn't like, do all of the things. So I'm glad you have couch conversations and we're having these meaningful conversations. There's so many people and women, men, all the things, in the Black community, therapy is like, you got to be crazy. You got to be losing your mind, but I'm not losing my mind. But I think that these things are important. I wish I would have had this as a younger age, but now after today's episode, I think I will be gone. I
Well, I'm
tried it
happy to
once, it
hear
didn't
that.
work out well, so I'll try it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You just keep trying it out. I really wish that we could hear Jewel because Jewel have an amazing platform. An amazing platform. And I want you to, if you can, I want you to link up with Jewel. She fire. She fires. So and that's just it. I was gonna go back to what you were saying about therapy. Sometimes, you go every month. Sometimes you go, every week. And I know I haven't had any therapy probably in the last year and a half. And I know that I need to find me a therapist. I have to. And when I first started on this journey, you're right. I had me every coach that says I didn't know. I didn't know. I was like, listen, I need this coach, that coach, that this coach, and I paid for them all too. I paid for them all because I knew that I wanted to get well. I knew that I wasn't well. I knew it. So that was very, very important to me. What do you think are some practical tools and habits people can um have to help them start healing?
Journaling is good.
Oh,
Journaling.
bomb.com. Yeah.
Journaling. Even if you do voice notes to yourself on your iPhone, if you have that. But journaling, because journaling has helped me.
Mhm.
And when I'm feeling a certain way, I just write, and
That's
plus,
neat.
do your daily affirmations.
Hmm.
I do
Hmm.
those. I'm a
Hmm.
person that um, does not think very highly of herself. If that makes sense.
Whoa.
Like if you see, I know it's all kinds of things. But I used to dress very baggy. I didn't show my body because that's the body is what got me in trouble in the first place. I think you know. So it's like it's layers. But I'm just saying, journaling, writing things out, that tends to help.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, I think I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Jesus Christ, I had to get on the iPad. I'm so sorry, y'all.
Got
No, you're
Jesus.
good. We can hear you now.
Okay, good, good. Cause I had a few things to say, but
Yes. Just jump right in there, girl.
I'm like, let me pull this iPad out. We ain't got it for
Right.
nothing.
Right.
Yeah, this is working better because then I can hook up to my hotspot. But okay, I'm back. I'm back, y'all. Where
Yes.
we at?
We was talking about how important is therapy, um, coaching, mentorship, and what are some tools that people can use so that they can start healing.
I definitely think they're very important. I think the problem is our community, the Black community, have such a stigma on therapy. But you want to know the root of where that started? I know everybody on here heard don't what happened in this house stays in this house. So we have learned to not talk about what we're experiencing in our homes and our whatever the case may be. So it's kind of this fear of being judged. I think life coaching is a little bit more digestible for our community because
Mhm.
it ain't a therapist, but I think everybody need it.
Mhm.
Everybody need it.
Mhm.
Everybody has experienced something that they should work through and they need to heal from, but that shame that's attached to most of your trauma keeps you from wanting to talk about it
Mhm.
or hurting other people. But I think the thing about that is we don't even realize we're trying to make somebody else comfortable, and 9 times out of 10 the person that we're trying to hold and not allow them to be affected by our truth
Mhm.
is someone who hurt us.
Right. Right.
So why am I coddling you? Because
Right.
where was the coddles when I needed them?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think therapy is very much needed, but we have to remove the stigma from it.
Well, I don't know what the problem is. Well, yes, I do. Just like you said. But the thing is that people will run out and buy them $250 Jordans. I seen a line that was from the doorway of a beauty supply store. This was their grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
Down the street and around the corner with all of us there, us folk.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there to get that
Mm-hmm.
hair or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it kills me that you will offer our community something free that is going to benefit you. It will benefit your children. It will address those social determinants of health, all that, and they will not pay no attention to that.
Well, you know why.
No,
There's
girl, tell me
comfort in the
why.
cha- there's comfort in the chaos. When you already know how something's going to end, it's a little bit of this control thing that you need, right? change is not easy. Healing is not easy work. And I think a lot of social media has made it so performative that they're not really giving people the real behind the scenes. So when they start calling themselves healing, they get to getting hit with all of the emotions of it, and they be like, yeah, and it's a no for me, I'm not going to be able to do this. But that's where the resources come in, that's where the therapists come in, that's where the life coach come in, that's where journaling come in. But people are so comfortable in just knowing how the chaos ends that they'd rather just keep repeating that cycle. It's like, why not? I already know how this go. I already know how it goes. So I'm already somewhat mentally and emotionally prepared. Even though I know this is not what I really want to be doing, I'm already prepared for how it's going to go. But they don't, they have a fear of the unknown. Well, what's on the other side of healing? Peace.
Connie,
Peace.
period. And
And
it's a
yeah, it's
beautiful
hard to get
thing.
there. It's hard to get there. I
Yeah.
just was having a conversation with one of my friends, and she was like, you really just don't go. I have made peace. You know that there's so many people out here running from themselves. That's why they out every weekend. That's why they staying in these relationships. They staying in these friendships that they ain't even having any kind of benefit from, because they can't sit with themselves. The minute they sit at home in quiet, they being attacked by their own demons, they shadows. So they're like, yeah, let me go ahead and get outside and go be around somebody so I can deflect from what's really going on. But I think people fail to realize that's how you heal.
Yeah.
Sit in that,
Mm-hmm.
feel it,
Mm-hmm.
release it.
Mm-hmm.
The more you run from it, the more it's gonna chase you down.
And the bigger it grows,
Yes,
the bigger
ma'am.
it grows. So,
Because now you got
so
45 other cycles to repeat to heal
no,
from. You keep going
and
through
say,
it.
well, then, if that's the case, well, then, how do we stop this thing, this thing from growing, this just generational curse thing? How do we stop it?
We're
I
doing
know
it
that we're
now,
talking
love.
about it, and
We
well,
we we trying to work and do it now. We just have to keep putting that awareness out there. We have to be the example. They have to see it in real time.
mhm,
And then
mhm,
they can be like, oh, okay.
mhm.
I'm noticing that just even stepping out here into the life coaching and being more vulnerable about the things that I've experienced, and now people are seeing how my life is turned around. The
Mhm.
peace is written all over me, and so they're like, well, how you get there? Well, let me help you.
Mhm.
Are you ready? Because it's scary.
Mhm.
Are you
Exactly.
ready?
Exactly.
So we just have to keep being out there on the forefront. Putting it in their face. This is what you need. This, and eventually we ain't gonna be able to help everybody, but it'll be a domino effect, because even if you help one woman and then she helps her child, or she helps a woman in her circle, it that's how it goes. We just have to be the change we want to see, and it don't matter if all we help is one person.
You're absolutely right about that, because I'm gonna tell you, when I first got into life coaching, I'm like, honey, I had the prettiest cake. Y'all should see my cake. I was getting ready to go save the whole world. Okay, I want, look. This is all you have to do, and it just didn't work like that. Um, I can remember the day I took that cape off, and I was like, I'm done with that. One-on-ones helping people was just not good for me. It took so much out of me. It took
Mm-hmm.
so much out of me. What I do love is group coaching. I love it. I love it. I love being in a setting with other women, because I mean, just because I have the title life coach don't mean that I know everything, right? I like to
Mm-hmm.
get with other women. You might know more than, like I always tell Robin. I love hearing Robin talk. I always listen to Robin
Mm-hmm.
talk.
Mm-hmm.
I steal her words and everything. So I'm trying to, learn my words and things like that. So I'm really trying to be around people that's smarter than me or know more than I do, because I want to steal some of that stuff. That's a part of my healing too. You know,
Yeah.
not feeling like I was ever capable. So I never thought about learning different words or how to express myself. It has been a journey trying to articulate how I feel and what I think.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn to slow down and say exactly what it is that I mean, and which direction I'm trying to go, and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's part of my healing.
Mm-hmm.
So
And yeah,
what would you say, or any of you, what would you say to anybody that feel like they are broken beyond repair? Like, I'm just too fucked up to fix. Simple as that.
I would say take it one day at a time. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. Take it one day at a time. I don't think that anyone or anything can be too broken to fix unless that's what you're committing to, unless you don't want to be fixed or you don't want to be healed. Some people like, they're settled on the idea that they are, we'll go back to damaged goods. They're settled on the idea, that they're no good for anyone else because of XYZ. It's a mind shift. It's a mindset
Mm-hmm.
shift that needs to happen, and a shift in the mindset. And once that mindset shifts, you can start rebuilding yourself piece by piece. There's no linear roadmap. There's no straightforward path, but healing is possible for everybody. And I'm just going to be the person to say it. And it's through God. We have to tap into the God within us in order to heal ourselves sometimes. Sometimes we be looking so much on the outside of us to be healed, reaching for, all the journals and all the life coaching and XYZ. And sometimes it is as simple as, first of all, being honest with yourself and doing the work within yourself and accepting who you really are. That lack of, I think the biggest issue for a lot of people, even the people who don't want to go to therapy, is the simple fact that they don't want to be honest with themselves about themselves. They
Mhm.
like they want to hold on to their inflated egos and their idea of who they believe they are because it's safer
Mm-hmm.
there.
She talking
Yes.
about that mirror, Jewel.
I know. Baby, she was hitting on. I said, well, I ain't got nothing to say because that's exactly it for me. Self
That was me
awareness.
talking about you earlier.
Yes, the self awareness is so key. And
Yeah.
honestly, just it's you're not broken beyond repair, but that is, if that's how you think, that's what it'll be. And I'm one of those type of, for my coaching. Well, that's what you believe about yourself.
Wow.
Is that what
Wow.
you believe about yourself? Because I'll tell you what, everything you believe about yourself will manifest into your reality. And
Right.
so if you believe that you are broken beyond repair, you made that choice.
You made that choice. And you don't
That's
need
a
me.
choice you're now making. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you are every day you get up, you are in control of you and how you decide to show up.
Mhm.
So absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. No, you just need to be aware and honest. That's
Mm-hmm.
the key. That's the
Mm-hmm.
key.
Mm-hmm.
Speak the truth and stop thinking about and worrying about anybody else and how they'll be affected by it, because
Mm-hmm.
your truth is your truth.
Mm-hmm.
There may have been other parties involved in the environment that they have a different perspective, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. But your perspective is allowed as well.
Right. And I agree with you on that. And I feel like without telling your truth, we're gonna go back to this one more time. Let me just say this. This was like a cancer that was growing in my body. And I didn't only crash out, I did some horrible things. Okay. I did horrible things and I did horrible things to people because of it. There's a cancer in my body that was growing. I was mad as hell. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I am glad that God stepped in and was like, enough is enough, girl. Now stop.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy about that. And I'm happy about that. And even now, my relationships have changed with people because of my truth.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that they can't say to me is that I'm a liar, and that, I'm not telling the truth. It happened. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's my truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
mine. And I'm
And
going to
like Robin
always.
said, you gotta go back to God.
Yep.
I firmly believe that, and I know we got people in the world who may not, and that's okay, because there may not be the people that I'm trying to speak to. But I
Right.
ultimately believe getting more clear and getting that relationship with him helps you see what he saw in you. You see the higher version of yourself before the world dumped all of whatever it dumped onto you, whatever experiences were done throughout the course of your life, underneath all of that is still something worthy. You are still
On
worthy. You
somebody.
are still enough. God's already saw that in you. And sometimes we need to reframe. Had we not all been through the things that we've been through, would we be here trying to turn the world around?
Come on. Come on.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know
I
what I
agree with
mean?
that.
So, like, I
Yes.
have to really look at my trauma. Yes, it was rough, but like, look where I'm at now. Look where I'm standing at now. And now I can help somebody else walk through theirs.
Yeah.
We have to be that light sometimes at the end of the tunnel to help the other people in the dark see their way through.
You better say it. And you know what else? What else? I used to ask God, and He would never answer me either. It pissed me off. But I used to ask God, why me? Why, if you love me, why did you love? Why? Why would you let that happen to me? You love me?
Mm-hmm.
Why
Yeah.
me? He said, what better person? Anybody
Mm-hmm.
else would have died from it.
Would have broke. Do you
I
hear me?
they would have broke, died, everything else. He knew I could handle it. I was the one. Come
Yeah.
on. I was the one, honey. And I always
Yeah.
say
Mhm.
this about when it comes even in my family. There's so much trauma that has happened in my family, starting all the way back to my grandmother. Just this trauma. My mother was 14 when she gave birth to me. 14 years old. 14.
Mm-hmm.
That should say something. Another one of my aunts was 12 when she gave birth to her first. She wrote a book about it.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot about what was going on. And that thing that goes back to what you said, Jewel, was what goes on in my house stays in my house.
Yep.
Okay. So listen. Anyway, we about to go to a little deep, a little too late now.
Listen, we always end up in the deep.
In the deep end.
Okay. Y'all, what do peace look like to y'all now?
Peace looks like y'all. Y'all have given me
Well,
peace. So yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It looks like
Thank you.
y'all. It looks like women empowering women. Um, Talking about the difficult things. Like back in the day, nobody talked about the difficult things. And now we have these platforms where you can see strong women that have been through the same thing that you have been through and that can help you. Like this is peace for me. So I just want to say thank you. Y'all
you're
gonna make me cry, but I'm off.
welcome. You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
So I'm gonna ask each one of y'all this question. If your younger self could hear you right now, what would you say to them, Robin?
Girl, you know you that bitch. I know that's terrible, but that's the short version, and you told me to keep it short, so that's the short version.
Yeah. How about
But I say
do it?
that
Clock
because,
it,
like I
boo.
said, because the things, just thinking about the things that my younger self went through growing up, like from being bullied in the home to being bullied when I left the home to, second guessing myself to, yeah, it's so many different things that I could say, like that, really piled on my psyche on top of the things, that I went through as a child. And it was just like, oh my God, I had to peel myself back layer by layer by layer. And even still, in my mid 40s, I am still peeling back the layers. But believe and trust, I now know who I am. And because I can stand on that and believe that, everything that the younger me believed about myself is not true. Those things are not true, and so that's where that came from. I wasn't trying to be really cocky, but at the end of the day, I really had to tell her, like, yeah, you was really that girl. So
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I love it, Jewel.
Whew. If I could talk to my younger self, I would tell her that yes, it's going to be a rough road maintaining such a pure heart through all that you're going to endure. But ultimately, you end up becoming everything that you knew you were
Mm,
Right.
outside of everything that you experienced.
Come on, boo boo.
that's good. Look at Jewel being all classy. I love it so much.
Still, baby, she always knew. I literally, when I look back at my pictures, like, you would never know I was going through the things that I was going through.
Wow.
And she maintained, like, I have so many people that tell me that, like, when you've been through the stuff that you've been through, like, how is your heart so pure? And I just
Yes.
never let none of that stuff make me bitter. Like, there was just always a nagging thing in me that said, "Oh, it's gonna be worth it in the end. Just stay kind, stay graceful,
Mhm.
um, and keep pushing, keep
That's what's
pushing."
up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay, Vernita, come on with it.
It would be that you are more than just your body. You are smart, you are intelligent, and you do have a pretty face. You are beautiful. You have such a
Yes.
sweetheart, and you are just, you might not be everybody's cup of tea, but you are somebody. That's what I would tell my younger self.
I love that.
Oh,
I
yes.
love that.
Me too.
Yes, you ain't got to be everybody cup of tea, but you
Nope.
still will be sipped. Ain't that what they be saying?
Yeah.
Period. Right. You still will be sick, Tanny.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, as for me, what I would tell my younger self, and I always do, girl, listen, they gonna pay for what they did. Okay? And we ain't talking about fighting, cussing, and fussing. We gonna prove them wrong. And
Mhm.
that's it, that's all. I'm special. I'm special. You might not see me as special, but I am. God didn't allow me to go through all that I went through, all that I went through. When I think about it, I'd be like, how? He
Mhm.
didn't allow me to go through all that just to be some ordinary person.
Mm-mm.
He gave me an assignment. This assignment is hard as hell, I ain't gonna lie. But he gave me
Yeah.
an assignment and I ain't backing down. So whoever don't like it, whoever don't like me telling my story, whoever don't like me telling my truth, whoever don't like my nose, whoever don't like my boundaries, all of them can go to hell. And that's just how I feel about it. Okay?
That part. Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I still love you.
Facts. Mhm.
I love that. I love that.
Period. Period. Well, ladies, do y'all have any last words, anything that you want to leave with people about healing, about this childhood trauma? Because this is a deep subject, and there's no way in the world we can cover this in 1 hour. There's just no way. There's no way. We all have stories
Mhm.
that we can tell about things that happened to us in our childhood that can help a lot of different people. And but we just don't have all the time in the world for it. So
Yeah.
Right.
starting with Miss Vernita, do you have any last words, boo? And then when you get done with your last words, tell people where they can find you in your business.
My last words would be don't be afraid to tell your story. Um, and just think outside the box. It'll be fine. I can be found as Simply Made Customs One on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook.
Okay, my
Thank you.
dear. You're welcome. Miss Robin, any last
I would
words?
say, yes, I would just remind everybody, just a brief reminder, like, yes, you went through that. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it sucked. Yes, it bruised your ego. Yes, you feel like you might not look quite the same in the mirror after going through all of that. However, you are not the sum total of what you've been through. You
Right.
you are not what you've been through. That's a part of your story. So allow that to push you into purpose and not push you away from it. I can be
Mhm.
found at one to empower ONE the number two MPOWER.com or on IG.
Thank you, Robin. Miss Jill
Yes, thank you for
Carter.
having me.
You, of course, honey.
Yes.
Miss Jill Carter.
I would have to say in regards to the childhood trauma, you didn't deserve everything that you went through. an experience, but you do not have to stay stuck there. As an adult, you do have a choice to turn that pain into power. And I can be found at the Jewel Carter on
Mm,
Instagram, Facebook, and The Mirror Speaks on TikTok.
that's what's up. Thank you so much. And my final words is that I love you all. I do.
We love you
You
too.
are just, you know
Me
what?
too.
God is so good. I said, God, you need to send me my tribe. I mean, they take too long. And then it just started trickling in. It just
Yeah,
started
he took a
trickling in.
while.
But
I
I
kept
love
saying, okay, I'm
y'all.
about to have to do this by myself. God, come
Yeah.
on
Right.
now. Jesus.
No.
Love you
I
too,
mean, that,
girl.
don't give me such a heavy assignment. And yeah. But I love y'all.
No, it's funny you said that. I literally just got done telling somebody all my friendships end up turning into me being uh, they're the
Like
person who
business
carries
partner.
their
The
weight
coach.
emotionally, coaching them. And
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
can I get, can I just get some?
Can
I
somebody
don't want
pour into
that.
me too? Can somebody pour in my
Yeah.
cup?
So
Just a bit.
yeah. So I'm so grateful for you ladies. Y'all have no idea. I love y'all down.
Exactly.
Same.
And I
Same.
want to say this too, Vernita. I want you to get with Jewel. I want you to get with Jewel.
I
Jewel,
took
can
her
I sit?
information down. I probably will. I like her spirit. You know, I go off vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
I
saying
feel
because
vibes.
y'all,
I go off
yeah.
vibes.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, ladies, we gonna check out of here, and I'm hoping and praying that somebody got something from this conversation. And you can reach out to any one of us. Any one of us. Of course, I am on Facebook as Venus Chandler, on Instagram, The Real Venus 111, and on TikTok, Venus Chandler. You can reach out to us. And of course, my number, I have a business number and a website. My phone number is 330-696-2260. Or you can reach me via email, info@kteimpact.org. Okay, you guys, thank y'all for joining me today.
Thank
Yes.
I'll see you
you.
Thank
again
Bye,
you.
soon. I
ladies.
love y'all.
Bye.
Love you
Bye.
Bye.
too.
Bye.
Do, 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 do.